This particular death threat during the John Doe days really shook the police department. They took it very, very seriously, and they wanted to put a bodyguard on me around the clock and my home. I asked them not to. I said, I just want to go on and live my life. This just shows I'm doing my job well. And I think that even though these guys may be cold-blooded killers, they're not crazy to try to kill a cop.
Meanwhile, up to 35 officers carrying their own high-powered weapons continue to scrutinize the northwest part of Miami, pursuing every lead about every major drug dealer that comes in. And they have been warned that a mystery caller has threatened that the John Doe drug gang will retaliate against them with sniper fire from rooftops.
Crime Stoppers, can I help you? He's there now?
There's a Chevy green backed up in the yard. It's running.
Beige and brown house.
He's wearing all black.
What color is this car?
It's souped up.
More than 400 calls to Crime Stoppers about Anthony Fail and his former gang, the John Doe Boys. A police task force following every viable tip.
He's everywhere.
We lead him off the street. And however we have to do that. If the public turns him in, that's fine. If he turns himself in.
Something Miami's most wanted is not likely to do.
Man, they got so crazy in the city where it was that them crackers started not putting poles down where you couldn't even come on 6-1. You can't even come off 62nd and go on 6-1. All that shit was blocked out in the daytime. Alex Pinellas was in office. His ass was out there with a bulletproof vest on. You know what I'm saying? Lil Bo, he ain't give a fuck. Basically, he like, you know what I'm saying? He like, man, these crackers they gotta take me dead or alive, you know what I'm saying? You know, he wasn't with the crazy, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't with that giving up easy, nigga. You coming to get me? Come on. Every day, nigga, it'd be 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you'll be on the one. You'll be at the stove, nigga. Shootouts. Straight up. Choppers. SKs, niggas whacking at each other.
Hey, it's hot up in there, man. Hey, tell them they shoot across the street too, man.
Finally, the cops decide it's just too crazy out there.
Hey, let's get our cars and get the hell out of here.
They take the advice they got at roll call and come in for cover just before midnight.
The state attorney's office was involved in the drug fight with us. There was some drug fighting going on.
We saw young people, juveniles, get into violence in a degree that we had never witnessed before.
What we did is there was a task force that was put together to address this issue because these weren't users, these were just very violent criminals.
We have a special team of dedicated agents with a supervisor that will come into that town at the request of the sheriff or the chief, with direction from the sheriff and the chief, and work that particular area, working violent crime, working standards of living issues in a community, and look to eradicate problems for the chief. Usually they'll last 3 or 4 months. We go in, we do the job for the chief, and then we come out.
Eventually, that's how everything got knocked down. Everything got closed up by the feds. You know, it wasn't really the local police. The feds came in and put everybody in jail.
Cops cracking down in Liberty City after they link more than 20 murders there to drug gang warfare. This indictment connects the John Does to 6 murders, mostly rival gang members or John Does who left the gang. But one murder centers around this man, the alleged leader of the John Does, Corey Smith. Agents say Smith's gang killed a woman to protect him. The woman was set to testify against Smith in a murder trial. 2 days before that could happen, she turned up dead.
These are some of the profile sheets that we've put together on some of the members.
While Fail was behind bars, a gang called the John Does took over the streets of Liberty City. The members, especially leader Corey Smith, were Fail's childhood friends. Miami detective Frank Alfonso says the John Does are one of the best opportunities going around here, despite the job hazards.
I will point out to murders in the area that happen within the immediate area that they control. The career that these drug dealers choose usually always leads to 2 things in their lives. And one is death, and the other is jail. And they're aware of that. They're very, very aware of that level and, you know, what their expectations are, but they choose to live that great life, as they call it.
Miami police spokesman, Lieutenant Bill Schwartz, says his department hasn't seen a criminal as ruthless as Anthony Fail in a long time.
Well, as you can see, this is the rap sheet of Anthony Fail. It goes all the way to the ground here, all the way to the floor. A murder in the first degree, firearm possession, armed robbery, homicide, willful intent to kill. I guess the last line here is the one that we have to be most concerned with as cops, and that is caution. Armed and extremely dangerous. Mr. Fail is, I would say, Miami's public enemy #1.
We understand he might be wearing some disguises, but we'll get him.
And you have to appreciate he's not just hiding from us, he's hiding from people that would look to shoot him.
You know, but by Bo being wanted, where, you know, he had the little shit where he, you know, had all on film, ran into the little A-Rab, hit the little girl in the shoulder with the little fire, run chasing some nigga. And he really wanted for that, so I grabbed him, you know, and took him with me up the road we hiding out or whatever.
Tracking Anthony Fail has been frustrating. At one point, this officer thought he spotted Fail in a car and gave chase.
Well, in this case, the officer did the best he could, but his tire went flat.
Oh man, it was chaos. So many people, cars was getting stopped. Like, there he is. So many people fit the description. They stopped him, he'll stop everybody there, but he wasn't even here. A lot of the things they was blaming him for, he wasn't even here. So the media put you in places and you in another place, so me, I don't get caught up with the black folks' Harold.
Homicide sucker number. He had somebody over his house. The guy had a drug overdose and died.
Soon the reward's up to $10,000, and hundreds of people are still calling the police.
Who's that? That Billy Walker's car?
Some to cash in, some legitimately to help, with all kinds of information.
It's going to be a 1982-84 gray Chevy Caprice.
Rental cars Anthony Fail may be driving, hotels where he may be staying, safe houses provided by his network of friends.
One of my first involvements was the incident at the store where Anthony Fail is seen clearly on camera chasing a guy into a store, shooting at him, and hitting a 9-year-old behind the corner. And the irony of that is that same 9-year-old, the father of the owner of that store, was killed in that store several years before in a shooting, and I was a homicide investigator during that time. So he was shot in the head, not related to this, but also because of drug enterprise. Anthony Fail decided that after Corey was down, after Corey was out, Anthony decided, you know what, the enterprise can't stay the way it is. I need to take leadership. Sort of like the story of the old Russian czars when they would actually fight for power. Little Bo decided that it was time for Little Bo to step up. And when he decided to step into that slot, there were those that opposed him. There were those that said, you know what, we like the enterprise the way it's going. We're the lieutenants in this. We're the bosses in this, and this is going to be our faction. So, but you know, this is going to be our faction. We're going to run this enterprise. Well, Little Bo decided, no, that's not the way things are going to happen. So I've got to eliminate those that get in my way, and that's what he started to do systematically. He started to go out and eliminate those that would oppose him. We had a couple of shootings that were caught, I think, on tape. Mark Couch was shot, and we had the situation with the little girl. And, you know, these things were actually caught on tape. He was brazen, bold, broad daylight shootings in the streets of Miami.
He wasn't about killing nobody. But if you're going to kill me, and I see you, don't you think it's common sense to get you before you get me?
He into the gunplay. That's what he do, you know what I'm saying? If it is on sight with him, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna lay on you. If he catch you and you know, if you supposed to get it, you gonna get it where he catch you at.
Anthony Fail, I know him as Bo. I mean, that's family. I mean, you know, we cool, you know what I'm saying? I've been knowing Bo since I was a jit.
By 16, Fail was already serving a 7-year sentence in state prison for a pair of back-to-back violent crimes. In one case, he pulled someone out of a car at gunpoint and ripped off their money and jewelry. He was charged with 2 counts of armed robbery and 2 counts of attempted murder.
Anthony Fail, you know what I'm saying? The notorious little Bo, you know what I'm saying? That's my dog. You know, we linked up in the joint, the state joint. You know, I was in on the little armed robbery beef. Bo had done wet a nigga in the dice game because he been squeezed and he was about 15. You know, he rolled out, did about 7 back then.
Tip that Anthony Fail was up in Palm Beach County. And we had about 15 or 20 Miami detectives, a few Metro Dade detectives, and then a number of FBI agents up there looking for him. And we found a car he was using